I have been with Healthcare Partners for probably 2 years, and my experience has been absolutely terrific. When I go to a specialist, my records follow me. There's no need to actually provide any additional information. They know what's happened in my primary care doctor's office.
Become a healthcare partner today. Medicare open enrollment starts October 15 and ends December 7. Learn more about how you can become a healthcare partner at hcpnv.com.
News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349. News is also brought to you by Dr. Richter from Compassionate Care for Women, providing personalized quality health care for women at every stage of life.
Tonight on News 46, Senator Dean Heller responds to an outcry from Pahrump. An inmate is charged with rape in the Nye County Detention Center, and the Pahrump powwow is on its way. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell and Jason Koblenz. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Thursday, November 21st, 2013. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. The Fort Hood shooting was a mass murder that took place on November 5th, 2009 at Fort Hood in Texas. A U.S. Army major and psychiatrist, Nadal Hussein, who was a radical Islamic, fatally shot 13 people and injured more than 30 others. It's the worst shooting ever to take place on American military base. Many individuals have called the event a terrorist attack. The shooter's religious convictions came into play, and an investigation that was being conducted on Hussein by the military prior to the shooting regarding him being a possible threat. The United States Department of Defense and federal law enforcement agencies have classified the shooting as an act of workplace violence, which denies military benefits to the victims and their families. At the Women's Veterans Recognition Day event held at the Veterans Memorial in the Chief Tacoma Cemetery here in Pahrump, Senator Dean Heller was called upon to change the classification by a local veteran. U.S. Senator Dean Heller of Nevada today joined Senator John Cornyn from Texas and other Senate colleagues in support of an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act that declares the attack at Fort Hood, Texas, a terrorist attack. Amendment 2392 also ensures that the victims of the attack and their families receive the same honors and benefits as those Americans who have been killed or wounded in a combat zone overseas. Senator Heller attended the Women's Veterans Recognition Day on November 9th here in Pahrump and was called to task by Lieutenant Colonel Alice Lubers.
I also lost a lot of friends in the Fort Hood shooting, another Army nurse, Colonel Juanita Wyman. Now, she can't speak, but I can. And here is your mission, young man. And I'll tell you, no is not an option. And if this mission is too tough for you, well, it's just right for the Army Nurse Corps.
There you go. Yeah.
You may or may not know this, but all of the injured and killed at the Fort Hood shooting, that is still deemed workplace violence.
No.
Now, I'm not a veterinarian, but I can recognize a horse's tail when I see one. It is a terrorist attack. And the United States government needs to honor that. Because Sean, Juanita, my other friends, they cannot receive the veteran benefits. So, because you are on the Veterans Benefits Board, the committee, and I do have surgery to correct any imperfections you may or may not have with this mission. But, sir, respectfully, from the town of Pahrump and all the veterans standing here today, you may use this flag as a loaner. I want you to carry it everywhere you go until DC gets it through their head that they all need my friends Our veterans, they all need a Purple Heart, and they need the veterans' benefits for being wounded in combat.
Heller took the flag and the task and has now stated that he is especially grateful to the members of the Prump community and especially Lieutenant Colonel Alice Lubers, who have been working on behalf of these victims and their families. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office has issued a press release regarding an inmate who is accused of raping another prisoner at the Nye County Detention Center. An inmate currently incarcerated in the Nye County Detention Center reported to detectives that he had been sexually assaulted by a man named Christopher Shields inside the detention center. Detectives conducted numerous interviews of inmates that were witnesses to the incident. Shields was also interviewed and alleged that the sexual encounter was consensual. A consensual sexual relationship between inmates confined in the detention center is still a violation of law, a Category D felony. At the conclusion of the interviews and investigation, Shields was arrested for sexual assault and was rebooked on a charge of sexual assault. At the conclusion of the interviews and investigation, Shields was arrested and booked for sexual assault. Shields is currently incarcerated for burglary at the time of this incident. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. British police have arrested a couple on suspicion of holding 3 extremely traumatized women captive for more than 30 years. One of the women, a 30-year-old Briton, appears to have been in servitude for her entire life. She and the other 2 women, a 57-year-old from Ireland and a 69-year-old from Malaysia, have been taken to a place of safety and are being cared for by a charity. The man and woman in custody are both 67 years old. They were arrested at their home and are being held as part of an investigation into slavery and domestic servitude. Their names were not released, and police say that they are only not British nationals. As we head into our first break, let's join Mr. Movie Phone.
I'm Mr. Movie Phone. A surefire hit slings its way into theaters this weekend, and Vince Vaughn is having a lot of babies, and I hope they all don't look like Daddy. Powder up for my weekend movie preview next.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh.
Happy weekend, everybody. I'm Mr. Movie Phone with your weekend movie preview. This week at the movies, Vince Vaughn is having a baby. 533 of them, to be exact. And it's the next chapter for Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
Since the last games, something's different. I can see it.
What can you see?
Hope.
After winning last year's Hunger Games, Katniss and Peeta set off on a victor's tour of the districts. But the pair becomes the target of the Capitol when their victory tour inspires rebellion among the people, and they find themselves in a fight to the death once again. The real deal, bigger, bolder, and better than the first. The odds are in your favor that the Hunger Games Catching Fire is gonna kill. I'm in! Vince Vaughn is the delivery man.
You are the biological father of 533 children.
What?
Vaughn is a sperm donor who finds out he has fathered 533 children. Before deciding whether to reveal his identity, he seeks him out to learn more about him and maybe offer some love and support along the way. The real deal, contrived, cornball, and just not very funny. I like Vince Vaughn, but the delivery man is shooting blanks. I'm out. All right, remember, free showtimes, your tickets, my 6-second review, so much more. Go to moviephone.com or tweet me right at 6-second reviews. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you at the movies.
That's a wrap!
By a 52-48 vote, the Senate today ended the ability of minority Republicans to continue using filibusters to block some of President Barack Obama's judicial and executive nominations, despite the vehement objections of Republicans. Sprint tumbled to last place in this year's Consumer Reports ranking for U.S. wireless service providers. Based on a survey of users, although it trailed only first place Verizon in overall customer satisfaction among major carriers, Sprint got what Consumer Reports called dismal remarks for value, voice, text, and 4G reliability. The rankings released today were based on a survey of 58,399 wireless subscribers. Sprint said the slip is likely due to improvements the company is making to its network. K9 Radio's Karen Jackson raised over $16,000 to support the retired senior volunteer program of Pahrump. We spoke to her today.
I was going to do a radiothon this Friday, tomorrow, but the strangest thing happened. I came in on Tuesday, opened up my show, and Sheriff Tony DeMeo called in. And he said, I know you're going to do a radiothon. I want to make a donation. And
you told him to call back on Friday or
no,
what?
No, I'll take money for fundraiser anytime, any place. So I said, well, okay, Tony, thank you. I get off the phone with him, and the phones just keep ringing. So I said, on air, well, I was going to do this Friday, but it appears you're feeling generous today. So, well, I just ran with it.
Yeah. See, and that's how it goes. And people feel that they want to donate at that time. This program really needed this money. What happened originally?
Originally, RSVP Jan Lindsay went up in front of the town board to ask for assistance for her program, which is vital to this community. And she was also there with Al Parker for his program. And Jan was denied.
Why did they deny giving her the $7,500 that they needed?
They said that they didn't have any money, but yet they approved Al Parker's program for $10,000. Jan was only asking for $7,500.
And this program drives seniors to their doctor's appointment, does in-home care for them, also does some cleaning programs and respite care, relieving the people who are taking care of these patients so that they can get a break.
And take them on their errands. If they're disabled and can't drive, they will take them to the bank, to the market. If they're unable to do that, the volunteers will do that for them. And to run this organization on such a small amount of money, $7,500. Well, when I read that in the paper, I got to tell you, I was fried.
Yeah.
So I called Jan and told her that I was going to do the radiothon Friday. But as it was, it worked out just fine. But even though the town board turned them down, which with all the money that they waste, really upset me. But there was no way I was going to let RSVP die. I was down to 10 minutes to 6, and we had the $6,300, $6,350. And the most fantastic phone call came in from county manager Pam Webster. And she said that Jan had went up in front of the county commissioners. The county commissioners didn't tell her no. They just said, we'll try to find the money. And Pam Webster said that the county commissioners had found $10,000. This community, we always pull together if there's a problem, and somehow we get it taken care of.
You can go on our web to find out all the people that Karen Jackson named that also donated. When we come back from this break, we'll have your news across Nevada.